You know what's wild? You can be married to someone for 8 years and never really know them. Never see who they truly are underneath all the nice words and promises. Until one day they just tell you. Straight up. No filter. That's what happened to me 3 months ago when my husband looked me dead in the eye and said, "Supporting a wife financially? That's for suckers. I'm nobody's ATM." Funny thing is, I just lost my job, like 2 days earlier, and I was scared and stressed and looking to my husband, my partner, for support. Instead, I got a lesson in exactly what kind of man I'd married. But here's the thing about lessons. Sometimes the student becomes the teacher. And sometimes the cost of that education is higher than anyone expected. Let me back up. My name's Rebecca, I'm 34 years old, and up until 3 months ago, I thought I had a solid marriage. Not perfect, what marriage is, but good, stable, built on partnership. My husband, Derek, is a software engineer. Makes about $180,000 a year. Good job. Secure. He's always been smart with money, which I appreciated. No crazy spending. No debt. Just steady, reliable income. I worked in marketing for a mid-sized tech company. Made about $95,000. Not as much as Derek, but respectable. Between us, we were pulling in close to $280,000 a year. We lived comfortably. Nice apartment. Good neighborhood. Vacations twice a year. We've been married for 8 years. No kids yet. We were waiting until we felt ready, though honestly, I was starting to wonder if that day would ever come. Derek always had a reason to wait. Let's get more stable first. Let's save more. Let's wait until after this promotion. But overall, I thought we were happy. I thought we were a team. Then I got laid off. My company did a massive restructuring. Cut 30% of staff. I wasn't performance-based, just numbers. Wrong place, wrong time. Budget cuts. I came home that Tuesday afternoon in shock. I'd worked there for 6 years. I loved my job. I was good at it. And suddenly, it was just gone. Derek was working from home that day. I found him in his office on a call. I waited until he finished, then told him. They let me go today. He looked up from his laptop. What? My job. I was laid off. 30% of the department. I'm out. I expected shock. Sympathy. A hug, maybe. Some reassurance that we'd figure it out together. Instead, Derek leaned back in his chair and said, "Well, that's inconvenient." Inconvenient. Derek, I just lost my job. I'm freaking out here. I get that, but... He waved his hand vaguely. You'll find something else. Just start applying. Shouldn't take long. The market's rough right now. It could take months. Then you better start networking. He turned back to his laptop. I've got another meeting in 5. We'll talk about this later. That was it. No comfort. No, we'll get through this together. Just move on. Handle it. Don't bother me with your problems. I should have seen the red flags then. But I was too shocked to process them. Over the next few days, I started the job hunt. Updated my resume. Reached out to contacts. Applied to dozens of positions. But like I said, the market was rough. I was getting rejections, or just silence. Meanwhile, money was becoming an issue. We'd always kept our finances semi-separate. Joint account for household expenses, but our own checking accounts for personal stuff. We each contributed proportionally to the joint account based on income. Derek put in more since he made more, but we both contributed. Now that I had no income, I couldn't contribute anymore. And the joint account was running low. I sat Derek down a week after the layoff. We need to talk about finances. Okay, I can't contribute to the joint account anymore. At least not until I find a new job. So we need to figure out how to cover expenses. Derek frowned. What do you mean? I mean, you'll need to cover the full rent for now. And utilities. And groceries. The joint account doesn't have enough. He actually laughed. You want me to pay for everything? Derek, I don't have income right now. Yes, you'll need to carry us until I'm employed again. For how long? I don't know. Hopefully not long. But however long it takes. Derek shook his head. No. I blinked. No. No. I'm not doing that. Doing what? Paying our bills. Paying your bills, he corrected. Your phone. Your car insurance. Your half of rent. Your credit card. That's not my responsibility. I felt like I'd been slapped. Derek, we're married. We're supposed to support each other. I support myself, he interrupted. You need to support yourself. That's how this works. That's not how marriage works. It's how our marriage works. Look, Rebecca, I'm not going to be one of those guys who carries a wife financially. That's for suckers. I'm nobody's ATM. You're an adult. You lost your job. That's not my problem to solve. I stared at him. Are you serious right now? Dead serious. We're equals, right? That's what you always said. Equals. So handle your own expenses until you find work. With what money, Derek? I have savings, but they won't last long. Then you better find a job fast. He stood up. I'm not having this conversation anymore. Figure it out. He walked away, and I sat there alone, realizing I'd married a man who saw partnership as a transaction, who saw marriage as separate accounts and separate problems, who saw me as a burden the second I needed help. Drop a comment right now. Have you ever been in a relationship where someone refused to help when you needed it? And where are you watching from? I want to hear your stories. I tried to make it work for 3 weeks. I burned through my savings paying my portion of rent, my car payment, my insurance, my phone bill. I applied to jobs frantically. I took on freelance gigs that paid almost nothing just to have some income. And Derek acted like everything was fine. He paid his half of expenses, bought himself lunch, went out for drinks with coworkers, bought a new gaming console, while I was rationing groceries and skipping meals to make my money last. One night I broke down. I was staring at my bank account, $8.47 left, and trying to figure out how to make it stretch another month. Derek came in, excited. Babe, the guys want to go to that new steakhouse Friday. You in? I looked at him. Derek, I can't afford a steakhouse right now. So don't order the most expensive thing. Get a salad or something. I can't afford any of it. I'm almost out of money. He shrugged. Then I'll go without you. No big deal. No big deal. Derek, your wife is broke and you're going to an expensive restaurant without her. What do you want me to do? Not live my life because you lost your job? He sounded genuinely confused. That doesn't make sense. What would make sense is you helping me until I'm back on my feet. We've been over this, Rebecca. I'm not supporting you financially. That's not what I signed up for. What did you sign up for? I asked quietly. When you married me, what did you think that meant? Partnership. Equals. Both of us pulling our weight. And when one of us falls, what happens? They get back up. On their own. I realized in that moment. This wasn't a marriage. This was a roommate situation with benefits. And the second I stopped being useful, I became disposable. That night, I made a plan. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to plead for basic human decency from my own husband. I was going to show him exactly what his partnership philosophy really cost. First, I called my sister Lauren, told her everything. She was furious. Leave him, she said immediately. Come stay with me. You don't need this. I will. But first, I need to make a point. I spent the next week documenting everything. Every expense. Every contribution I'd made to our life together over 8 years. Every sacrifice. Every dollar. Every hour. Because here's what Derek had conveniently forgotten. Marriage isn't just about money in the bank. It's about all the invisible labor. All the things one person does that the other takes for granted. I created a spreadsheet. An itemized bill for 8 years of unpaid labor. Meal planning and grocery shopping. 15 hours per week times 416 weeks times $25 per hour equals $156,000. Cooking dinner. 10 hours per week times 416 weeks times $30 per hour equals $124,800. Cleaning the apartment. 8 hours per week times 416 weeks times $25 per hour equals $83,200. Laundry, including his 4 hours per week times 416 weeks times $20 per hour equals $33,280. Managing household bills and finances. 3 hours per week times 416 weeks times $30 per hour equals $37,440. Organizing our social calendar. 2 hours per week times 416 weeks times $25 per hour equals $20,800. Planning vacations. 20 hours per year times 8 years times $35 per hour equals $5,600. Running errands. 3 hours per week times 416 weeks times $20 per hour equals $24,960. Home decorating and maintenance. $15,000 over 8 years. Emotional labor and relationship management. Priceless, but let's say $50,000. Total, $551,080. Plus, I calculated the opportunity costs. The promotions I turned down because they required relocation and Derek didn't want to move. The freelance projects I declined because Derek wanted me available for his work events. The career pivots I'd avoided because Derek's job took priority. Estimated opportunity cost, $200,000 in lost income over 8 years. Grand total, $751,080. $750,000. That's what my partnership with Derek had cost me. That's what I'd contributed beyond my salary. That's what he'd taken for granted. I printed out the spreadsheet, highlighted the total, and left it on the kitchen counter with a note. Since you believe supporting a spouse is for suckers and you're nobody's ATM, here's an itemized invoice for 8 years of services rendered. Payment is due immediately. Or, alternatively, we can discuss what partnership actually means. Your choice. Rebecca. Then I packed a bag and went to Lauren's house. Derek called me 4 hours later. What the hell is this? He sounded angry. It's exactly what it says. An invoice. You can't be serious. You're billing me for cooking and cleaning? That's insane. Is it? You said we're equals. That we each handle our own expenses. Well, for 8 years, I've been providing services you benefited from without compensation. If we're not a partnership, if we're just two individuals managing separate finances, then those services have monetary value. And you owe me. This is ridiculous. Is it? Because you're the one who said supporting a wife financially is for suckers. You're the one who refused to help me when I needed it. So fine. We're not partners. We're vendors. And my invoice is past due. Rebecca, you're being crazy. No, Derek. I'm being exactly as transactional as you taught me to be. You wanted a marriage where everyone handles their own expenses. Congratulations. Here's yours. He was silent for a long moment. What do you want? I want you to understand what partnership actually means. I want you to see that marriage isn't a business transaction. And I want you to recognize that the second I needed support, real support, not just lip service, you abandoned me. I didn't abandon you. You did. Financially. Emotionally. In every way that matters. You told me I was on my own. So now I'm taking you at your word. I am on my own. And you can figure out how to cook your own meals, clean your own apartment, and manage your own life without me. So what, you're leaving? Over this. I'm leaving because you showed me I never actually had a partner. I had a roommate who benefited from my labor and discarded me when I couldn't contribute financially. That's not a marriage, Derek. That's exploitation. He tried to backtrack. Said he'd been stressed. Said he didn't mean it. Said we could work it out. But I was done. Because here's the thing. When someone shows you who they are in a crisis, believe them. Derek didn't suddenly become selfish when I lost my job. He'd always been selfish. I just hadn't needed him before, so I hadn't seen it. But the second I did need him, the second I needed my partner to step up and carry us for a while, he made it clear I was on my own. And you can't build a life with someone like that. I filed for divorce 2 weeks later. Derek fought it at first. Said I was overreacting. Said I was throwing away 8 years over a misunderstanding. But it wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a revelation. The divorce took 4 months. I got a lawyer who specialized in cases where one spouse had contributed significantly more domestic labor. My spreadsheet, the invoice, actually became useful evidence of the imbalance in our relationship. I got half of everything we built together, plus spousal support for 3 years while I rebuilt my career. Derek was furious, called it unfair, said I was robbing him because I'd been unemployed for barely a month before I left. The judge disagreed. Turns out, 8 years of uncompensated domestic labor counts for something after all. I'm 6 weeks post-divorce now. I found a new job. Actually, a better job than my old one. CMO at a startup. $120,000 plus equity. They love my experience and my strategic thinking. I moved into my own apartment. Smaller than the place Derek and I shared, but it's mine. I decorated it how I want. I cook what I want. I live on my own terms. And you know what? I'm happier than I've been in years. Because I'm not walking on eggshells around someone who sees me as a financial burden. I'm not justifying my worth to someone who only valued me when I was profitable. I'm not shrinking myself to fit someone else's limited definition of partnership. Derek texted me last week. Said he missed me. Said he realized he'd made a mistake. Asked if we could talk. I blocked his number. Because some lessons come too late. And some costs are too high to forgive. Here's what I learned from all this. Pay attention to how your partner treats you when you're struggling. That's when you see who they really are. If someone tells you that supporting you is for suckers, believe them. They're telling you that you're not worth investing in. That you're not worth fighting for. And if you're the one doing all the invisible labor in a relationship, the cooking, the cleaning, the organizing, the emotional management, make sure your partner actually values it. Because the second you stop, you'll find out real quick how much they appreciated you. I gave Derek 8 years. 8 years of partnership, of labor, of love. And the second I needed him to give back, he called it exploitation. So I showed him what exploitation actually looks like. I showed him the bill for all those years of unrecognized work. I showed him what his partnership philosophy really cost. And then I walked away with my dignity intact. I'm Rebecca. I'm 34 years old. And I was married to a man who thought supporting his wife was for suckers. So I showed him what that really costs. Everything. His comfortable home-cooked meals? Gone. His clean apartment? His problem now. His organized life? Good luck. His wife who loved him? She found someone better. Herself. Derek wanted a transaction. So I gave him one. And the price was higher than he ever imagined. Supporting your spouse isn't for suckers. It's for partners. Real partners. The kind who show up when things get hard, not just when it's convenient. Derek wasn't that kind of partner. So I found a better one, me. And honestly, best investment I ever made.